Okay, so today I'm gonna make a blueberry sour cream pound cake with a whipped topping and a blueberry glaze. Down here in the South for Thanksgiving, and my daughter works for a lady that also runs a community center, and they had an abundance of frozen blueberries. So I did get me a case. I can make me some blueberry muffins, blueberry pancakes for them kids. And on top of that, we have dogs, and they are good for the dog's health too. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing I did was I'm getting me a simple syrup started for my blueberry glaze, which is 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, and then this bowl of blueberries, okay? And I'll also put a little lemon in that. So while I get that going, I'm gonna get all my other ingredients together and get set up for making the cake. Okay, now I'm gonna bring them to a boil, and then once they get to a good rolling boil, I will turn them down and just let them steep. That's a problem. You started it. Yeah, you finish it. Put your back down. Okay, so we're gonna use 1 cup of unsalted butter. For baking, you always wanna make sure your butter is unsalted. And we're gonna use 3 cups of granulated sugar. And then we're gonna get that blended up together nice and smoothly. Okay, so now that we've got the butter and the sugar cream down, we are going to add 6 eggs, 1 at a time, beating in between. And I'm not at home, so that's why I don't have my stand mixer. I'm using a hand mixer, so it may be taking me just a little bit longer. You always want to crack your eggs into a bowl, separate from over the cake in case you get any shells or anything in it. You also want to scrape down the bowl in between just to make sure you're getting everything in there. That's the 3rd egg. Okay, now we're down to this last egg, 6 eggs. Now, the recipe I use said eggless eggs, but I ain't use no eggless eggs. I just use regular dozen of large eggs. Well, a half a dozen, okay? So this is egg number 6. I'm gonna get this incorporated, then I'll be back. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix my dry ingredients together just so I can incorporate the baking soda and the salt. So we're using 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We're using 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just gonna use this little sifter over a bowl. So I'll add 1 cup of flour, and then I'm going to get quarter of a teaspoon of the baking soda and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Oops. And I'm gonna go back in with another 2 cups of flour. Also putting it through the strainer eliminate some of the lumps that will be in there. It's kind of smooth out your cake batter. Okay, so now the recipe is calling for us to start combining the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. And what we're going to do is alternate the flour, baking soda, and salt mixture with the already creamed eggs, butter, and sugar. But we're also going to alternate in the sour cream and our vanilla. With this recipe, it is a lot of stop and go. So you do have to be patient when you're baking, especially pound cakes and things like that. And this is the first round, and I will continue. All right, so I don't have a stand mixer with me. I got some helpers though, okay? Well, if you let it go, it's gonna cause a mess. So it's not good, okay? Hold on. We gotta get this, hold on. Mix it in. Got it? Try to stay in the batter, okay? Stay in the batter. Don't let it go that way. Hold it this way. So. Okay, so we're down to the last of the flour that we're adding to it. We have everything else in there so far. Now, it said 1 cup of sour cream, but I do use a little bit more. You know, I wait for my ancestors to tell me to stop. Got to scrape down the sides. Okay, so now I got my blueberries. They have been kind of simmering for a long time. I'm putting them through a strainer and mashing them so I can get all that goodness out, so I can get a good thick glaze. Now again, these blueberries were frozen, they're not fresh, but with any time you're putting fruit inside of a cake batter, if you don't want it to sink, you're gonna have to dust it a little bit with some cornstarch or some flour. What I did was put a little sugar and a little flour mixture, and I'm gonna roll mine around in it a little bit so I can put them in my cake mix so they don't just necessarily sink to the bottom. So now that I have got my blueberries all dusted with the sugar and flour coating, I have folded them gently into my cake mix because you don't want them busted all up. You want them to nice explode when they're cooking. Okay, so I'm gonna bake this on 325 for about 1.5 hours. So none of my blueberries have been steeping for a long time. I have strained them through a sifter. Now you get this nice glaze. So I'm really just needing this to thicken up a little bit. Okay, so now that the cake is in the oven, I'm gonna make my topping. It's cream cheese, sour cream, it's a 1/2 cup of sugar, and there's a teaspoon of vanilla. And in my another bowl, I'm going to whip heavy whipping cream together until it forms stiff peaks. And then I'm going to gently fold it in, put it in the refrigerator, and let it chill. So, heavy whipping cream. Okay. And so far, this is what the topping looks like. It is just sugar, sour cream, a block of cream cheese, and some vanilla. I'm gonna get to whipping this and combine it. Okay, so now I'm going to gently fold my frosting mixture or my topping mixture into my whipped heavy whipping cream. Okay. And again, you want to just do it nice and gently. You don't want it to collapse. And this topping is good on several different things. It's not just for this particular cake. You can use it on any sweet that you would like to add some elegance to. All fold together. Okay, so we got our blueberry pound cake complete. It's out the oven, it's cooled, it's out of the bundt pan. Of course, a couple of times it always sticks on some area, but not as bad as usual. All right, so now we have our pound cake. So we're gonna take here's our topping. It's been in the refrigerator. We're gonna put a nice little scoop on there. We have our blueberry sauce.
It looks like syrup.
Oh yeah, blueberry syrup.